Hi all, welcome to this new episode of my podcast, A Digital Tomorrow. Today, I'm joined by Nir Kouris. Welcome, Nir.
Hey, friend, good to see you.
Well, good to see you too. For all those of you who might not know Nir yet, even though he's a very influential person in the fintech and cryptocurrency scene, Nir founded Fintech Nations. He also founded Coin Nations. And he's currently working as well on the Creator Nations. And well, in general, as I said before, he's very relevant in the fintech and crypto industry. So I think it's better that I leave it to you, Nir, to explain exactly what Fintech Nations, Coin Nations are to our listeners.
So first, yes, it's great to connect with you and our like-minded people who are watching and following everything that you do in this space. Basically, in the last I've been advising banks. I'm from Israel. I worked with most of the banks in Israel, and I wanted some level of innovation. So I went outside of Israel in the last 7 years, traveled mostly in Europe, and opened all these bank accounts in neobanks, like and fintechs, and involved with open banking. And I really wanted to have the hands-on. A lot of people are talking about these topics, but not many live and breathe the everyday feature in every possible beta program. And I knocked on doors. I went to the offices of these fintechs and I asked them to give me access. It was the beginning of the Revolut, the Monzo, the N26, the Bank in the Netherlands, and others, Curve in the UK. And I really wanted access because all the space of, after the login, what's happening when the onboarding, what's happening with what are all the features. So I had to physically register myself to every possible beta program. What they earned from that is my feedback as somebody who knows and touches very, very various of banks from all over the world. By the way, not just in Europe. In the US, I don't have a social security number, but I use other people helping me getting access to their bank accounts and their information. So that's what I gave them. I gave them the feedback from the user eyes, somebody who's using these apps.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I wanted to tell our listeners that Nir and I met 1.5 years ago when you invited me to participate in your Fintech Nations event. I gave a presentation on CBDCs, and since then we've been in touch. And actually, please correct me if I'm wrong, but based on your postings on LinkedIn and everything you discuss, I feel like maybe you started, as you said before, like very interested in trying to learn as much as possible from, let's say, virtual banking, for example. But it looks like lately you've been transitioning or becoming more interested in cryptocurrencies. I'm not saying by that you are not interested in virtual banking, because as we all know, virtual banking can integrate cryptos, but I feel like you've had this transition. So could you please let me know if I'm right? And if so, why?
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned it. So after four big summits under the Fintech Nations brand, when I met you, and we did also together, if you remember, a Fintech Week, also between Israel and the Emirates,
Right.
all these countries. I wanted to see if I can be, as you see, that this is like the obsession of these are just some of the cards. I wanted to see if I can be as obsessed as I was for fintech, but for crypto. And of course that I'm into crypto for a couple of years, but I have a lot to learn. So I went to the Bitcoin Miami conference. It was in June, which is a physical conference in Miami. And I wrote the organizers about myself. I showed them my experience, and I said, I really want to connect in some level of partnership. So they invited me behind the scenes to meet with all the biggest leaders of the crypto world, all the companies. I also think I have a lot of good timing, because a lot of them were starting to step up, like companies like MoonPay or others. And I called my designer and I said, we're doing the Coin Nation Summit. So we had Fintech Nations, we're moving to Coin Nations. And I interviewed all these people. I was behind the stage working the hardest in interviewing, developing relationships. Then I got back home and I started the Coin Nation Summit. It was a virtual summit, a huge summit. And I think that if you ask me, what did I gain? A lot of people ask me, what did I gain from this conference? Again, it's coinnations.com, is the relationships. It's the relationships, because in the end of the day, these companies are now the leaders of the world, these investors, these VCs, venture capital from all over the world. And I think I met them in a good timing, because they were still accessible. With all the respect to me, if I were trying to reach them right now, I think it will be harder for me. Working with Visa Crypto, working with MoonPay, working with NFT.com, with other people, Superworld, other leaders that I met, I think that now they are overwhelmed with conferences and requests. And I just came in the right time back then. And since then, my own strategy was to fly to all the other physical events, to NFT NYC, to Miami Art Basel, to meet with them again and again and again and again, physically meet with them, and develop these relationships that help me to now start advising these companies and others. And I'm still going to make the summits, as you mentioned at the beginning of the introduction. So you were right. From Coin Nations, we're going to Creator Nations this year. But it's also important to be in physical events and summit. And that's why, again, I will come in April. I'm going to be in the Bitcoin Miami conference. And I'm going to have a physical events over there with some of these leaders that I mentioned. But all my requests, and this is maybe the topic of today, one of the topics of today, all the people who are reaching to me right now, the biggest companies are in the NFT or Metaverse, let's say Web3 space. They're not coming to me for regular payment solutions. They're coming to me for the Web3, if we can frame it this way.
Well, actually, a side note, you mentioned now NFT.com, this company. I don't know if you saw it, but David Namdar was one of my guests in this podcast as well, from a couple of weeks ago. You know, one of the founders of NFT.com. But this was just a side note. But yes, I mean, I fully agree with you. I think that right now, well, much of the interest is also on the NFT and Metaverse area. I'm not saying by that cryptos are not relevant. They are, of course, as relevant as ever. But maybe the newest trend is that of NFT and the Metaverse. That's true.
It's over, and it's all over. And also, I like to still, follow up the other stuff, just like you were talking, and you're an expert on all the CBDCs and other topics that you're like, people were looking for an expert, and you're leading this, and congratulations to you. I mean, it's very, very important. Right now, if you want another interesting fact that I want to share with you and the people who are watching, I'm sitting in a very old company that I advise. I'm not only advise the super amazing companies, but this is an old company that is in the, let's say, cash flow forecasting space, and they're going into the crypto. They're going after all these corporates and CBDCs, and we're talking with central banks and big bands, traditional and the most innovative companies, the most innovative, I'm not going to mention names, but the most innovative exchanges, crypto exchanges. They're talking with everybody, taking something from the old world that the CFOs and accountants and treasurers used to look at big dashboards of all the incomes and outcomes and loans, and they're doing it for DeFi. They're doing it for Web3, for blockchain, connecting all your exchanges, all your wallets. And sometimes, it's amazing to see a company like this that could have stayed in the Web2 world, going into your space, the thing that you're talking about, talking with countries about CBDCs and how to manage, cash flow. And it's unbelievable. And I love this story, not less than that of like the big companies and MoonPay and all the other superstars in the field. Like sometimes you can take a Web 2.0 company and move them into the Web3 company. And I'm connecting them to advisors and people like you, people in central banks, and they're doing amazing. So sometimes it's not only the coolest companies with big budgets. Sometimes it can be a small player listening to you, doing the shift in the mindset asking all the employees to start opening a MetaMask and other wallets, changing the mindset of the company and taking it to the future. That's unbelievable.
Actually, you raised a very interesting point when you mentioned all these maybe more traditional or old companies, to put it this way, tapping into cryptos, NFTs, the metaverse. And I wanted to ask you, like, given your experience advising companies, why? And I'm aware that each company is different, so there is no magic recipe. But generally speaking, why do you think, or why would you advise a more traditional company to tap into DeFi, NFTs? What like advantages do you think it may bring them, like generally speaking?
Yeah, certainly. I still work with banks, even the most innovative banks that I'm working. They're paying me as a consultant to show them. Even them, they are under regulation and they're moving, but not moving as fast as all these cool financial startups in the DeFi and Web3 space. And you really see that the users and the people wants to have, faster companies who can give them all kinds of financial models. You can take your NFTs and get a loan against your NFTs, or you can take your NFTs as a value creation and really ask people to chip in. They can do group. It's called start a party and buy an NFT together. So all these models of buying together, loaning in so many possible ways, these are like small boats who are faster than the incumbents. And my advice for the banks, both of us are talking still with banks, and these banks they have a big budget and they have a lot of trust from their customer. They have to have at least a crypto department. Even if they say the regulation is against, and every company should have a crypto team. And this is not an advice, this is a must. Mm-hmm. Because this is where people go, younger people. I'm attending other conferences. A lot of them do not know how to secure their account. They don't understand the concept that I am my own bank. And right now I need to secure my own bank. For example, this ledger over here. Mm-hmm. I even with my assets, I split my assets. So if I make a mistake, or if somebody is sending me a phishing link and trying, all these rug pulls and stuff, yeah, I need to secure myself. So I think that a lot of it is education. Of course, that's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing, putting these videos and educating. And also for big companies and corporates, they're going after the users. They're going after the money. Their valuations can grow up. Again, we're starting right now the new internet. I remember when I was 16 years old, I used to be Mr. Domain Name. I used to have the most domain names in my country. In Israel, I used to sell domain names.
Okay.
Now with Web3, I mean, you can get an ENS domain name, and it's like your name is like, it's like your wallet. So instead of writing all these long key with different words in uppercase and lowercase, people can just type my name and send me. So my wallet becomes my identity. I can log into all my favorite Web3 website or services with my new identity, my MetaMask. This is the login. It's like the Facebook Connect or Google Connect. This is the new way to log in. So coming back to your question, all these incumbents and corporate, they have to have a crypto department. Just like both of us can learn from Visa. Visa, not only they bought a CryptoPunk, but they say we have to let our people experience. How are they going to talk about crypto if they don't have a wallet? How are they going to do it? Your wallet is your access. So let's teach first our own people, even give them a free NFT, give them something to start, because how can they talk every day with crypto companies without doing it? Mm-hmm. Especially the company that I'm sitting here right now. I told the CEO for months, you cannot pitch your ideas into white papers. Yeah, you can write nice white papers about why crypto and corporates and how to manage the treasury. Of course, it makes sense. Everybody knows, but you have to take your own wallet and ask your people to open their own wallet and move from the demo phase to the real world phase. You're a crypto company, show me what you got. Show me what you got. Show me that some people comes to meet with you and some come to meet with me, and they don't even have a wallet. They never made a mistake with the gas fees. They never paid the lesson, what we are experiencing. Yes. So you can divide the people who are coming to you to those who are, just like I used to do with the neobanks, that I used to try and use the banking. One time I had a meeting with a bank manager in Israel, one of the biggest banks, and I asked, do you know Revolut? Do you know N26? She said, yeah, of course I do. I read about them every day. I'm attending panels in the biggest conferences every day with them, with the CEOs of Starling Bank and other banks. And I said, okay, but did you ever use?
Yes.
She says, no, but I don't need to use. If I want to learn about them, I ask my people and they give me a summary. I said, no, it's not about the summary. You have to use it. How will you understand the new phase of neobanking and challenger banks? Same thing for crypto. You have to, you come to meet with me. You have to do the lesson. I'm willing to help, by the way, but you have to open a wallet. You have to make the mistakes to learn. Otherwise, how can you be on the stage and lecture something that you're not really doing it?
No, that's very true. It reminds me of people who sometimes ask me like how they could or should tap into cryptos, but then you ask them like whether they ever opened a wallet or not, and they tell you that no, they just read about that, or they just watch a YouTube video. So it's like you should first try to learn something by doing rather than just by seeing others doing, because it's very different and you will for sure make certain mistakes. But as long as you try to get as much information as possible and are careful, as you said before, you need to be aware of phishing, but this exists in an industry. It's not just applicable to crypto. So I think that's a fair point. And when you talked before about incumbents, big banks, well, that's actually very true as well. I remember last week I saw on LinkedIn a chart published by a famous research company where they analyzed how many of the big banks are, to some extent, tapping into cryptos. They analyzed banks from the US, one from Spain as well, a few from Japan, from many countries all over the world. And the thing was that if you looked at that chart, most big banks, either investment banks or retail banks, they are tapping into crypto. I mean, not necessarily like trading cryptos or anything like that, no, but at least they have some kind of crypto division, and that's growing by the year. And it makes sense because it's what you said before. Even if a certain bank is not very eager towards the idea of crypto, that bank needs to understand this phenomenon because it's an actual phenomenon. It's not like any longer a passing fad, which, I mean, I'm not saying that cryptos are going to become a passing fad, but I mean, who knows, right? It could have been like that. But right now it is like clear to me that cryptos are here to stay, and they are becoming much more institutional to some extent. So that's why everybody should learn about them. I don't say that everybody should trade them. I mean, you are free to trade whatever you want, but at least you should know that phenomenon.
Exactly. And this is where people go, and you need to be where people are. I wanted to show you something else that while you were talking, I just remember, this is an example of a Visa card. And on the card, you see a very famous NFT project. Yes. It's called AccuWorld. And this is just a regular debit card. It has money. It's not a sophisticated card, but it shows you that Visa support communities, that Visa, sometimes in order to be a part of something, you can invest, you can help them, with sponsoring and doing the parties that they do. This is from Miami. It was an event, and they are issuing this card to support this community. So we're talking about NFTs and involving, and if you're sometimes maybe the first step is opening a wallet or buying an NFT, and then the NFT gives you a token, a reason, a way to talk with the founders in the community. That's a good example.
I agree. I fully agree with you. And you were talking before as well about NFTs and the Metaverse. And there is one question that people ask lots of times as well, because, for example, some reports have been published on real estate prices on the Metaverse and this kind of ideas. So why or how is it possible that a parcel, a plot of land in the Metaverse may cost millions of US dollars? What's the rationale behind that?
I love this question. Oh, we could have the conversation just about that. finding real estate and what the psychology behind it, of course, of people, location, just like regular real estate. So my journey in the virtual land, and I plan to be an expert in this field. I'm now actually advising Superworld. And Superworld is, you can go to superworldapp.com. It's basically a layer on top of the real world. You can buy virtual land and you can place your NFTs. Let's say I'm buying the Times Square in New York. So I can place my NFTs or other people's NFTs. I can make even an exhibition in a gallery and it will stay there because it's like with AR. So you're placing the tagging, you're tagging it on a physical location, it will stay there. So when you can imagine when Apple comes with the glasses, or won't be just us going with our phones or iPads, it will be like a virtual layer on top of the real world, and advertisers and people will come through it, and maybe they will pay you. They will rent this space from you. Personally, I'm investing in land in Sandbox. How did I choose? We can do a workshop just about that. How did I choose land? I was looking at the Sandbox map and trying to understand where are the brands, what are the experiences that we know of today that are going to take place, event space, concerts, amusement parks, and stuff like that. So you're seeing a map and you're seeing all kinds of logos of even the most smartest people on the planet, like venture capitalists and all kinds of VCs and other investors that are buying land in a specific location because they're planning to have experiences, even like creating a virtual hub for companies to be there. So they're buying land, and you want to buy maybe the land next to these experiences, or create yourself. If I'm an event organizer, like maybe I can do my own event there. So these decisions are impacting the prices. So you definitely can see that I bought in higher prices because I bought next to the known brands that I saw their logos and I saw their experiences, but most of it is still not there. I'm guessing. So this investment, in terms of my investments, I'm not going to see profit from it in the next like few months or year or years. It's going to take time. It's unlike the NFTs that I know the team, or I can see traction, and I can tell you that this is maybe I can see the profit even right now, even though I'm a holder for long term. So I invest because I know the team. I'm trying to meet the team. I'm trying to understand what background experience, because I'm basically, when you're investing in NFT, you're investing in a company. You're investing in a company. You need to do your due diligence and see if they're capable to do what they promised that they're going to do. So I'm more like a smart investor, also in terms of virtual land. And I'm also a blue chip investor. It means that I'm only investing in things that are known, and just like every NFT has two phases. You have the phase of the minting, which the price is low, right? You can get it first, and you have the other price when everybody's already in the party, so the prices go up. I actually usually I enter after the party goes a little bit up, because I want to see the community. I want to see the companies in this space, who is investing, what are the big names, influencers that are there, and only then I'm buying. Yes, I'm paying more, but I'm paying more after I can do a little bit of due diligence and I can see where is it going. At the minting phase of a new virtual land platform or a new NFT, a lot of times I don't know, and it's almost like gambling. Buying land, and okay, which metaverse is going to win? Which metaverses are they going to stay, or are they going to close? We're talking about our money. So I did invest in other metaverses platforms, but I didn't invest a lot, and I have no expectations of them to win. And I don't know the team. I don't know if they will not vanish. It's very risky. So I'm a blue chip investor. Most of it will be Decentraland, Sandbox, companies like that I know that are leading, and I know that Nike and other brands whether if it's a Roblox or other. I know the users. I saw a deck or I saw something about them, so I know the numbers are real, at least. That's my opinion.
No, I mean, it sounds like a wise strategy. By doing so, you may be paying a bit more, but you are making sure that whatever you're investing your money in is actually something that will become real. You know the team, you know who's behind, who's backing them. So to me, it
Exactly.
sounds very fair.
And by the way, every day I'm getting so many emails, you won't believe, of decks. The next Dubai mall in the metaverse. See, they're taking people who are very good in 3D. They're showing you the saloon or the villa, your dream home in the metaverse. Or it can be a mall. It doesn't have to be. It can be a mall with fashion. They're telling you that it's going to be a mall with e-commerce on the metaverse. They're telling you, like, showing you amazing 3D designs, and they want 16 euros. 16, sorry, not euros. 16 ETH, right? Ethereum, 16 for you to invest. And you're not only getting the land, you're supposed to also get the 3D architecture stuff. I'm still not able to do these things, and there are also all kinds of new DAOs. I saw today a DAO to really purchase a physical land together. Like it's not a land; it's like a physical villa in LA that cost a lot. But it's so complicated in terms of the accounting, in terms of it's a DAO, so it's basically decentralized, and the decisions. And how are you going to charge people, or are you going to rent it, and how are you going to do all the finance behind it? It's so complicated. And I'm not saying I love the innovation. I love this is so original, like using all these people and the power of the crowd to buy something physical, like. But it's just like all these NFTs that invite you to events. Who knows if you're going to have the money to fly to this party or to that event? So yes, you have the token, you have the access for your dream hotel NFT or dream hotel. It can be on the metaverse, but who says that you're going to have time to visit there? You're going to be able to fly there if it's a physical location. And again, the financial stuff are so complicated. So I think it's we are so early into that. So if I will enter something like this, a DAO like this, to purchase a physical location, and it's just all the rendering looks nice. We'll send you a nice deck, whether if it's in the metaverse or the real world. But the way from here to really make an X on my money, too long, so long, and it's a bigger gamble for a person like me to enter. Maybe for other people, but I cannot even recommend. It's too long.
No, fair enough. Actually, I want to play now the devil's advocate, and well, we know that there is now this huge interest in the metaverse. We know that even some countries are opening diplomatic embassies in there. Bill Gates, for example, said recently that in 3 years, most business meetings will be taking place in the metaverse. So there is no doubt that there is now this huge interest in this area, and this area, it looks to be here to stay as well. But what would you say to these people who say that at the end of the day, what you can do in the metaverse is not so different from what you can do on the internet? Like, for example, whenever a country decides to open an embassy in the metaverse, at the end of the day, what you can do in there is to do that kind of paperwork that you could do maybe before in a simple and plain website. So what would you say to these people? What's the difference in the metaverse? What makes it so attractive or different or unique?
First, it's connected to digital assets. So people can, of course, we talked before about e-commerce. You can see the digital assets. You can grab it from a virtual store. You can still get it, like the piece of clothing. You can still get the nice T-shirt, but you can also get the digital representation. People like to collect. People like to show off. Especially you see it with kids, of course, in games. They're used to collect, and they actually care more about their virtual avatar than the real. You ask the kid, you want me to buy you clothing, or you want me to give you pocket money for Roblox? They want the money for roadblocks. They don't want for the physical object. So it's a paradigm shift. And embassies and stuff like this and offices, and they can really get a piece of a real estate, a piece of the attention of people on the next platform. And of course, we said it's early, but it can be very, very exciting, engaging. It also creates jobs. We can talk about that. Also creates new jobs, like event managers in the metaverse, or people who are hosts or restaurants in the metaverse, and embassies and stuff like that. So I'm not sure it's like replacing. It doesn't have to be this or that, but maybe the combination of physical and digital. And again, every brand, I think, that will that be a leader, that will be a leader in this space, they will earn. They will earn from the attention, because right now it's innovative. So at least they're going to get press or investors or people interested in them. They're going to get something, you know, even by us buying our company and a .eth domain and putting it as our name handle on Twitter, it creates attention. Like suddenly people want to host us on Twitter Spaces. People want to talk to us. It sounds innovative that a known brand or a celebrity like Shaquille O'Neal, for example, is changing his username to shaq.eth. Mm-hmm. It's new, it's innovative. It now he belongs to a community, and people are adding him to chat groups, and suddenly you're talking with Shaquille O'Neal on who would have thought? So tapping into community in all the conversation, that will help brands or companies or embassies or governments to reach new audiences in the metaverse that they wouldn't reach if they wouldn't join and be the first or the pioneer. So I would recommend them to do that. And again, to experiment, just like we said before, every company has to have a crypto department. Same thing. Every company has to have some, you can call it a research team, experimental, at least experiment. Start small with something and see how it goes. You don't need to be like the biggest Samsung in the metaverse and have a store and all of that. You know, sometimes it creates hypes in the first days and then nobody goes there. So you can start from a space, learn to design, work with 3D designers or people who design for the metaverse, and build it once in a time, and build these experiences and just maintain a community in that space, because one day all the Web2 communities will really shift to those kind of communities with ownerships and NFTs and all the amazing stuff that we're seeing. So at least start something there. This is my advice.
I fully agree with you. It's what we said before when we were talking about cryptos. Most companies should try to tap into that, at least to experience what's going on. I don't mean by that they need eventually to enter the metaverse. Perhaps it might not be interesting for their business to do so. That's possible, but at least they should know firsthand what we're talking about. And also this idea of communities is something very interesting from, in general, this whole crypto, NFT, metaverse world. That's something that you don't see in traditional finance. You know, this idea of those people joining those communities and then being so active on Telegram or Discord. And well, I mean, it's much easier to see people gathering and creating communities in this scene. And we're talking about not small communities. In some cases, we're talking about, well, thousands and thousands of people.
Look how many people just changed their avatar to a PFP, personal profile picture, and then they step into communities. You get so many followers, new conversations, just because you made that decision.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Well, we're running out of time now, Nir. It's been a very interesting discussion. I think our listeners will be able to learn a lot from you regarding cryptos, the metaverse. So I would like to thank you for coming to my podcast.
Thank you very much. I enjoy every second. I think it was a very good one between us.
No, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And well, to all my listeners, please feel free to follow Nir. He's very active on LinkedIn and other social media. Please follow his updates, his events, because I'm sure you will learn a lot from him.
Thank you very much.
And well, thank you again, Nir, and thank you to all my listeners for listening to this episode. And please stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you very much, and see you soon.
See you. Bye, friend.